Dallas on Sunday night. The Dodgers had to change planes due to mechanical failure. Last night, it was a free and easy flight until the bottom half of the sixth of a scoreless game, when the pilot, Carlos Frias, lost control. Back-to-back walks to Shin-Soo Choo and Joey Gallo, followed by back-to-back singles by Prince Fielder and Mitch Moreland. And it was May Day in the middle of June, deep in the heart of Texas. One batter later, rookie Rugded Odor singled home 2 more runs. Yasmani Grandal's 8th inning home run eased the turbulence at least a little bit. And so tonight the Dodgers will battle the Rangers and the rain.
It's a humid night for baseball. And live from Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Texas Rangers. In Game 2 of this 4-game series, after the game tonight, these two teams travel back to Los Angeles for games tomorrow night and Thursday night. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, and Nomar Garciaparra. The Giants won today, so as play begins tonight, the Dodger lead is 3 games. Brett Anderson's going to make the start for the Dodgers tonight, his 13th of the season. One thing we've discovered about Brett Anderson, he's a grounded individual.
Well, he's very much a grounded individual. He's thrown the ground ball 62% of the time, which is number 1 in the major leagues. But this guy's signed to bolster the back end of our rotation, really thrust into the number 3 spot with all the injuries. But Brett has done an amazing job. 1-3, though, over his last 8 starts, but a 2.79 ERA. He's really been a tough luck loser. He needs to continue to throw the ground balls and wait for the boomsticks of the Dodgers to support him.
Speaking of the boomsticks, Justin Turner, since the beginning of last year, nobody has a higher batting average in Major League Baseball with at least 350 at-bats.
And prior to that, we were learning about Justin Turner. And what have we learned? Well, he lost his job over in the Mets. He was looking for a job with the Dodgers, trying to win the second base job. Loses that to D. Gordon, becomes a super utility player. And what an integral part he's become in this Dodger lineup. I mean, not only from last year, hitting 340 off the bench, coming up with clutch hits, but now finding himself playing regularly this year. Why? Because he hits the balls to all fields, and he is just a line drive machine out there. When we look at this graphic right here of what he's done and where he ranks in line drive percentages, he's only at the top in that category, and he finds himself now batting in the 5th hole. RBI situations, why? A 361 average with runners in scoring position.
And you are just in time for the lineups in first pitch. The Dodgers and Rangers are coming up next on a hot, sweltering night deep in the heart of Texas.
a 90% chance of rain tonight, and it's going to get worse here tomorrow. So the Dodgers and Rangers desperate to get this game in before flying back to Los Angeles for 2 more games tomorrow night and Thursday night. Our closed captioning this evening brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel, der Fun since '61. Dodgers know that the Giants were 6-4 winners this afternoon up at AT&T Park over Seattle. So at the moment, Mattingly's group has a 3-game lead on San Francisco. The Astros won today, and so Texas at the moment in second place in the American League West, trailing by 3. Here's the Mattingly lineup for this evening. Jock Peterson to lead off and Yasiel Puig in right. Adrian Gonzalez is averaged down to 307 now. Howie Kendrick at second base. Nomar telling you about the hitting heroics of Justin Turner since the beginning of last season. Now a 321 hitter. Ethier Grandal, Alex Guerrero the DH tonight. Rollins at shortstop batting 9th as the Rangers take the field. And 23-year-old left-hander CC Gonzalez, Chi-Chi to be sure, his 4th start, 2-0 and an 0.42 ERA.
And scouts are raving about this man on the hill. I mean, 23 years old, and they say he has a mound presence beyond his years. He comes at you with a lot of different pitches, a variety of pitches. Throws a fastball from the low 90s to the mid 90s. Will throw a cutter in on lefties. Will throw a changeup down and away to lefties. Will throw a slider curveball to righties. Works both sides of the plate. Obviously, the first time seeing him, you want to see what his release point looks like, and I say attack him early.
His folks were born in Cuba. He grew up in Boynton Beach, Florida. And how did he get the name Chi-Chi? His great uncle gave it to him.
The young man is going to be a challenge because a lot of times when you face a pitcher for the first time, even though you get to see a lot of video study and tendency study in his first few starts, seeing him the first time through the order, I would expect the Dodgers to be taking a look at a lot of different pitches to get to see what he has so they can react to him later in the game.
Interesting stat in looking at Gonzalez making his 4th big league start. He has struck out only 8. He's walked 10. Opposing hitters hitting just 176 against him, so I guess he's keeping him off balance.
That could be the reason the scouts are raving about his mound presence, that he's been able to pitch in traffic and not lose command or poise.
And so we are ready to go. The Dodgers, of course, lost last night 4-1. Even so, they've won 5 of 7, 6 of 9. Texas, though, since the 4th of May, the hottest team in baseball, 26-14. On the 20th of May, they were 9.5 games behind the Houston Astros. And now they are back to within 3. And so this is the first time we're getting a look at Gonzalez. First ball swinging. Peterson pops it up into short center. Where Leonis Martin makes the play, and we are underway. Martin in center, surrounded by the former Padre Kyle Blanks in left. Shin-Soo Choo is in right. Gallo, Andrews, Alberto, and Moreland in the infield. Robinson Chirinos is the catcher. So 81 degrees, oppressively humid, but this time of year it's fairly normal for these parts. Yasiel Puig, 0 for 4 last night, struck out 3 times and broke a bat over his knee. 1 ball and no strikes. Puig with 3 home runs and 8 runs batted in. Now it's 1-1. Gonzalez, a big fella, has a mound presence, 6'3" and 210. Puig taking all the way. It's 2-1.
Very basic mechanics, very angular, nothing special or deceptive.
Backhanded and short by Elvis Andrews. Quickly 2 out.
And I know it's just been 2 batters, but you also see there's movement on his pitches. It's not really straight. He's got a good tails sinking fastball that he just threw to Yasiel Puig, which on that one he just got on top of and hit into the ground.
A first-round pick in 2013. Didn't take long to get here. Now they're going to put the shift on as Adrian Gonzalez steps in. Gonzalez continues to slump, but he had 2 huge hits on Sunday in San Diego. Adrian now down to 307. He was at 383 in April. And he bangs a base hit into center field.
Gonzalez gets Gonzalez, and this was the four-seam fastball. This didn't run. He's thrown the fastball into lefty so far to Jock and to Adrian, and he throws the four-seamer. That tailed a little bit back over the plate. They wanted it more on the inner half. Adrian made him pay. Fastball down the middle, base hit up the middle.
Howie Kendrick steps in. Howie at 289, 6 home runs and 28 runs batted in. To the right side. 8 pitches. That's that in the first inning. No runs and a hit. Brett Anderson getting ready for his 13th start of the year. He'll be facing Chu, Andrews, and Fielder when we come back for the bottom of the first. Over 500, and here's the lineup. Shin-Chu Chu will lead it off in right field. Elvis Andrews at short. Prince Fielder at 341, the DH. Blanks, the former Padre. Moreland at first. Joey Gallo, the much ballyhooed rookie, left-handed swinger. Robinson Chirinos, Leonis Martin, and Hender Alberto facing Brett Anderson. Anderson making his 13th start of the year, and Chu with 8 home runs and 32 runs batted in.
Well, Brett Anderson
are swinging early, aren't they?
They sure are. Maybe they know about the storms in the area. Brett Anderson, a Texas native, born in Midland, Texas, has not done well here in this ballpark. 0-3 with a 9.77.
And as you were pointing out in the pregame, he is a ground ball pitcher. Through the form, Chu bounces to first.
He is definitely a ground ball pitcher. The defense will be at work tonight.
With Gonzalez at first and Kendrick at second, Rollins at short and Justin Turner at third. The outfield these days round up the usual suspects with Ethier, Peterson, and Puig, and Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Now Elvis Andrews stepping in. Andrews at 237 with 3 home runs and 24 runs batted in. And while his average is down, he's getting on base an awful lot. Prince Fielder is on deck. And there's a strike, 0-1, a 91 mile-an-hour fastball. So they've got the bad weather coming up from the Gulf. Both teams want to get this game in as quickly as possible. Nice easy chop to Turner.
Am I seeing more white out there on the Dodgers shoes tonight with Jimmy Rollins and Howie Kendrick and Adrian Gonzalez? It's like they got a new shipment in, Charlie.
Well, here's Prince Fielder. And the T-Mobile game changer from last night. After back-to-back walks to Chu and Gallo, Fielder with the single into center. Then Moreland would single and Odor would single. And it was game, set, match. in the 6th. Fielder at 341. The Dodgers have a big shift on for him.
Justin Turner comes over from the third base bag to play at the second base position where he's comfortable. Leave Jimmy Rollins on the left side of the infield where he's comfortable.
You know, the one thing about Brett Anderson, you mentioned about him and the ground balls and the defense. You know, he works so fast, it allows the defense to stay in the game and on their toes.
Fielder in the month of June has 1 extra base hit. But that single to center last night was a crusher to the Dodgers on the strike. 1 extra base hit in June, but he's knocked in 7. Back after less than a year, neck surgery. Fielder takes a walk with 2 out.
I like the pitch, though, even though he loses him to a walk. A nice fastball away, making Prince beat you to the opposite field and just off the corner.
And here's Kyle Blanks. Dodgers certainly have seen him a lot over the years when he was in San Diego. 6'6" and 265. When he hits them, they tend to go a long way. The issue has been hitting them consistently. Career .234 hitter. Last year, San Diego and Oakland signed a minor league free agent contract with the Rangers over the winter.
You mentioned about his power. I'm looking at the middle of this lineup. I mean, you have Prince Fielder, who can hit him a long way. Kyle Blanks, Mitch Moreland has some power, and Joey Gallo. You know, we saw him last night. He does not get cheated.
He might have the most of all of them.
Yeah.
He's deepest in the order. At 6'6" with Kyle Blanks, a guy with a long lever system like that, a longer lever system usually is a less accurate lever system. So even the guys with shorter arms than him, they're trying to stay short to the ball to be accurate and square it up. But with 6'6" and those long arms, he's got to be really tight to be accurate before he gets his extension.
In the hole into left field. So the 2-out walk to Fielder and Blanks singles to left, giving Mitch Moreland a chance to plate a run or 2. Now here's Moreland, 8 home runs and 31 runs batted in. He's got a 10-game hitting streak. He's had an 11-game hitting streak once in his career. And with runners in scoring position, he is 6 for his last 7. One ball, no strikes. And the powerful Joey Gallo is on deck. Anderson's 16th pitch is up and in.
We've seen those last two breaking balls called for strikes this year, where the pitchers are getting more of those high breaking balls. And in my day and Nomar's day, you throw it up there and it's a ball, you're just glad to get it back, but it's not over the fence.
Into left field, it's going to drop in for a hit. Fielder trips and falls on his way home. And the Dodgers catch a break. Rounding third, he fell on his face. Now the bases are loaded with 2 out.
See Fielder laughing at back there, and he's talking about the Dodgers catching a break. Fielder might have caught a break as well, because that would have been a close play, because Andre Ethier came charging in and making a good throw. See him trip over there.
Well, at the end of the play, the funny thing is he points up in the stands, up in the air towards the stands.
For the sniper?
For the sniper. And he did it then to his bench, and he did it to the Dodger bench also, because everybody's yelling at him. He's like, no, 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 the sniper got me.
And the Rickard scale, 3.3. Here's Jeff Bannister. And Joey Gallo, with the bases loaded, takes up and in. 1 ball and no strikes. These Rangers are loose, playing well. And the Prince is leading off third. There's a strike. Everybody out of the water.
Right, pointing right up there at the sniper that got
right away.
See, that's from being a big league son. He's heard that on a big league bench ever since he was little. And he knows immediately what everybody's going to be saying inside the bench.
Well, this year he's had so much to prove coming off the surgery, and the last couple of years he was really struggling. And so Prince Fielder is back. And the 1-2. Anderson just missing.
Well, hopefully the Rangers have gotten their hit with runners in scoring position. Brett Anderson has struggled with that this year, giving up a batting average of .340 with runners in scoring position. That's highest of any of the Dodger 5 starters.
Now it's 3-2. It's kind of a microcosm of the 6th inning last night. Frias was free and easy through the first 5, then the back-to-back walks. Anderson retires the first 2 batters here in the first. Now the bases are loaded. Full count and 2 out. And he walks it. Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
Well, Brett had a lot of confidence throwing a 3-2 curveball. It took him a while to get to the sign with Yasmani. He stood out there on the rubber and stared in. He loves to work quick, but he just ended up throwing at the same exact places that Gallo did not chase prior to that pitch.
Anderson now still in trouble as Robinson Chirinos steps in.
Looked like a perfect pitcher's pitch right there. It's just the reputation of throwing balls right now might have bit Brett. Strike zone's got it right there at the bottom of the strike zone.
This is now the 25th pitch of the inning. Into right. Puig going back. Way back and against the wall. He got a step or 2 in front of the wall. He tracks it down and makes the play. So Anderson and the Dodgers could sigh a relief. It could have been worse. 1 run, 2 hits, 3 left. 1-0 Texas as we go to the 2nd. what happened there in the bottom half of the first inning. 2 out, nobody on. Fielder would walk, Blanks and Moreland would single. Gallo would walk with the bases loaded. And Anderson and the Dodgers down 1 as we begin the second inning. Chichi Gonzalez making his 4th big league start. He'll be facing Justin Turner, Andre Ethier, and Yasmani Grandal. Turner last night 2 for 3. And now has been batting in the 5th spot last few games. 1 ball, 1 strike. As Omar was pointing out in the pregame, grounded to third. That's big Joey Gallo. Nobody has a higher batting average than Justin Turner, dating back to game 1 of last year, with at least 350 at-bats.
Yeah, he's really just developed into just a great clutch hitter on top of that. You know, so big last year in such key situations, coming off the bench, even when he started, and worked so hard in the offseason so he could be depended on to play regularly. And because he's swinging the bat so well this year, he is playing regularly.
Andre Ethier takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Ethier, 9 home runs and 27 runs batted in. That is more than doubled his home run total. And for the Dodgers, this is but their 64th game of the year. Mattingly's team 3 in front of the Giants, who won this afternoon. Beat Seattle. Finally ended that home losing streak. And Ethier bloops one into short left, and Elvis Andrus tracks it down. So 2 out, nobody on. Yasmani Grandal coming up. Grandal with the home run last night in the 8th inning off Tanner Shepard's. Yasmani's 8th home run of the year. At 272, he's been a better hitter from the left side, and the Rangers have the shift on, and the Dodgers, swinging early in counts, are retired on 7 pitches here in the second. Nothing across. In the bottom of the second, Martin, Alberto, and Chu against Brett Anderson. 1-0 Texas. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive your own Dodgers beach bag presented by Avita Water. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Leonis Martin will lead it off for the Rangers here in the second. Martin at .251 with 4 home runs and 21 runs batted in. Takes a strike and it's 0-1. Martin's had a great month of June, hitting .349 with 7 home runs after a very slow start.
A lot of these Rangers offensive players had slow starts at the beginning of the year.
That's Gonzalez. Will take it by himself. Well, the Rangers themselves collectively had a very slow start. But since the 4th of May, so over the last 6 weeks or so, at 26-14, the Rangers have the best record in Major League Baseball. The Astros got off to that great start, and they've come back to earth a little bit. Houston won today. But Texas, steady as she goes under their rookie manager, Jeff Bannister. Hands are Alberto. Bannister's quite a story. He had 1 major league at bat, and nobody will ever hit higher than he did. 1 for 1. But that's just a small part of Bannister's remarkable life. And a ground ball to short. Rollins will throw out Alberto, 2 out. Jeff Bannister has battled bone cancer and osteomyelitis twice. Life-threatening. Overcame it all. Was a lifer in the Pirate organization. Everybody loved him there. Great coach, great communicative skills. And here he is, and he has done awfully well and enormously popular here in Texas in his first season. Here's Chu taking a strike, 0-1.
Bannister was not dealt the best of hands here in Texas with all the injuries they've had so far this year. 12 guys currently on the DL. The likes of Derek Holland, of course, and Neftali Feliz. And
let's not forget Beltre and Hamilton. DeShields just went on the DL.
Yu Darvish. So you got 4 starters, right? And your closer.
It's ridiculous how many injuries they've had.
They've overcome them and they've gotten hot. Well, they got Hamilton after that much ballyhooed deal with the Angels, and then he promptly gets hurt. The line of DeShields, who replaced Hamilton, he got hurt. They bring up Joey Gallo, and he's certainly done well in his brief time here.
As much as we've complimented Andrew Friedman and our new front office and brass for the depth that they have created for the Dodgers to weather the injuries that we've had, John Daniels here with, there's a shot at Yu Darvish. John Daniels done a great job general managing this club.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Sin-Chu Chu, who bounced to first in his first at bat.
Hey, Oral, there's Elvis Andrews on deck. They're showing him, but he is close to home plate.
Into center field, well hit. Peterson going back, way back, way back. Oh, he's done it again! What can he do in center field? Jock Peterson with another spectacular catch. Two all-world catches in 3 days. Jock Peterson. week. And here in the third inning, Guerrero, Rollins, and Peterson to bat. Jimmy Rollins batting ninth in the order tonight. Alana's got more on that.
Well, guys, he's played 2,091 career games. 3 of those games he was the DH, so 2,088 of those he has been in the field, as well as primarily at shortstop, and of course also hitting in the game. This is the first time in Jimmy Rollins' career that he has ever batted ninth. And Don Mattingly had this to say about it earlier. He said pretty much in the American League, it's like a second leadoff hitter. You use it like that a lot here in the junior circuit. I felt like he was swinging the bat pretty well a couple of weeks ago, but he's kind of hit his skid now. See if we can get it back on track, guys.
Guerrero back behind second base. Alberto throws out Guerrero. 1 out. And now here comes Jimmy Rollins.
You spend most of your career with one team, and that's in the National League. So you got usually the pitcher hitting ninth there. So that has, but also just the success he's had. I mean, obviously, we know he's been struggling here with the Dodgers this year. We see him batting eighth, and now in the American League, they have him ninth.
And Jimmy takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Despite hitting ninth, I mean, when you're struggling, you're like, it doesn't matter where I'm hitting. I just want to try to do everything I can to just get out of it.
Fouls it off to the left, and it's 0-2.
Seems to me he's more successful right now as somebody that should use left field a little bit more, especially from the left side, of course.
And for me, as I watch him, a lot of times he's just swinging at the ball instead of it. Well, that's what it looks like he's pulling off and trying to pull everything rather than trying to hit it and drive it like that.
But right into the leaping glove.
But that's still it's something that you want to take with you, because he stayed on the ball better there than he has been rolling over or missing the ball. So even when you get outs and you're struggling, you look for the positive in there and try to get that feeling back.
Elvis Andrews with the play, 2 out, nobody on, and here's Jock Peterson. So Peterson flied to center in his first at bat. And if you're just joining us, he made another sparkling catch to end the second. And he takes a strike, 0-1. Puig on deck, 1-0 Rangers. We're in the top half of the third. Back tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium, Wandy Rodriguez and Clayton Kershaw. And it's 2-1. Peterson 7 home runs and 33 runs batted in, or 17. Swings and misses. And it's 2-2. Gonzalez, a dribbler to third. Gallo, too late. So the speed of Jock Peterson. He legs out a hit.
Chichi Gonzalez comes up and in on Jock Peterson after throwing him a good off speed down in a way that he swings through. Boy, that sawed off Jock Peterson. This ball just coming up and in on him. Jams him, but still hustling down the line. Great job by Jock to beat that out.
Speed helped him in the last half inning with making that great catch in center field, and it gets him a base hit.
And Puig is stepping in. Bounced to short in his first at bat. And Yasiel takes a strike, 0-1. At 3:33, 3 home runs and 8 runs batted in. Took the collar last night and was struck out 3 times. Talk about getting sawed off.
Last night, Yasiel did that himself, breaking it over his knee. This time, Chichi Gonzalez does it for him, running this two-seamer right in there on the hands.
He ended up with a penknife in his hand. Nothing in 2, with 2 out in the top half of the 3rd. One hopper handled by Andrews. A throw. He gets tweaked by a step. No runs and 1 base hit. After 2.5, Rangers with a 1-0 lead. They got Andrews, Fielder, and Blanks coming up.
With an EPA estimated 30 highway MPG, this car was made for driving in California. Visit Dodge.com today.
Low calorie. Elvis Andrews will lead it off in the bottom half of the 3rd inning.
Wow.
Oh, no. Andrews, Fielder, and Blanks.
That would take me a month to work off there, Charlie. At least.
Oh. It would take me a month to eat it.
That was the boomstick that I referenced in the open. The Dodgers need to whip out their boomsticks, not those hot dogs.
Rangers 1-0 with Andrews leading it off in the bottom of the 3rd. It's inside. Andrews had got off to a good start in the first, retired the first 2 batters. Chu and Andrews with the greatest of ease. And Fielder walked, Blanks and Moreland singled. Gallo walked with the bases loaded. And now a backhanded play by Rollins. Just does get Andrews by a bang-bang step.
And the sequence of events from a coach and a player pointing to the bench to them running to the video to see if they want to challenge this. Jimmy Rollins with a nice play in the hole, strong throw, bang bang at first. The original call is out. He might have a challenge.
Well, I mean, that's what they're going to get.
I'll tell you, with instant replay, just where the batter now goes and turns, instead of turning to the umpire like you missed that, they just turn it right to the dugout now. Go have a look.
And so first base umpire Chad Fairchild and Jim Joyce, the crew chief, will have a good listen to the folks who watched it in New York. Well, the 35,000 fans in the jury box are fairly well convinced that Andrews beat it. And it looks like he did. So an infield hit for Elvis Andrews to begin the third inning. And that brings up Prince Fielder. Fielder walked and scored the only run of the game to this point. And he takes a strike, 0-1. Prince at .341, 10 home runs and 45 runs batted in. Now Fielder at .341, 3 points behind Cabrera, Miguel Cabrera, for the American League lead. Whether a hit, a walk, or hit by pitch, Fielder's been on base 57 of his last 62 games.
And we just had a peek at the shift that they have on Fielder. As you see Justin Turner, they took the third baseman and put him over there because he's comfortable taking ground balls over there from the second base side. But there was so much communication between Justin Turner, Jimmy Rollins, Howie Kendrick, the pitcher, the first baseman, on who's covering the ball in case of covering second in case of a ground ball, and where Jimmy Rollins then has to go if that ball is hit to go to third and cover it, and in case of a stolen base as well. So a lot of things going on, a lot of communication when you put somebody out of the normal position.
Andrews has stolen 8 of 12, and Fielder fouls it off to the left. Grandal has thrown out 9 of 31, 28%.
All the normal assignments for who's got what and where and when are built on conventional defenses, but as soon as you start moving people around, you got new assignments.
For instance, Justin Turner had been at third base. Now he's a few steps to the first base side of second. Rollins, your basic 6-5-3 double play.
And Justin Turner did a good job taking the hit and turning that ball. If you have a regular third baseman and you're asking him to shift over that, they may not turn it the way Turner does here, but his experience at turning the double play from second base allowed him to stay in there taking that hit, knowing that he can't see the runner coming down on him, and completing that double play.
And worthy of the Carl's Cam replay.
Your 6-5-3 double play. That's the way you normally write it up, right?
Sure. Kyle Blanks with a single to left in his first at bat. Rangers with a 1-0 lead, 2 out. That is outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. So Kershaw and Wandy Rodriguez tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium. And here's Rollins throwing out blanks, and that'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. A 10-pitch inning for Anderson. Gonzalez, Kendrick, and Turner to bat for the Dodgers in the 4th. When the Dodgers play the Texas Rangers and pick up your Mike Marshall pin, the fourth in the Cy Young Pin Collectors Series presented by 76. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. So here's Adrian Gonzalez, who singled to center in his first at bat. Dodgers down a run against his rookie phenom, Chichi Gonzalez. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Gonzalez threw 3 innings, 30 pitches.
Two of the fastest workers in the big league. Gonzalez, one of the few pitchers in the big leagues that actually receives the ball back from the catcher behind the rubber. He'll throw the ball, front foot lands, pitches over, and he will start striding back behind the rubber, get on the rubber, and go.
And away he goes on 2-0. 2-1.
1, 2, 3. He's back behind it. Receive the ball, get on the rubber. At least he gets behind the rubber. Because in Little League, you're taught don't receive it back from the catcher on the rubber. That's a balk. When he's warming up in between innings, he catches it right on the rubber.
3-1 to Adrian Gonzalez.
First time I tell him he stops now. They changed balls on him. That's why. Broke the rhythm.
And he seems to have a good rhythm that the Dodgers need to try to find some way to break up right now. Because doing a good job.
He's got the 2-seamer away to lefties or into righties. He's been using that arm side of the plate often. He's got the cutter and 4-seamer on the other side of the plate. And he can also throw the 2-seamer over there. He's thrown a few sliders. Hasn't shown a big curveball or anything yet. Really locating the fastball.
First 3-ball count of the night as Gonzalez bounces to the third baseman Gallo.
And even that pitch right there, that was exactly where Chirinos wanted the ball in the outer half. And you can just see the movement under that ball. It started off in the middle of the plate and it was just diving away from the left-handed hitter. Watch where this ball starts right here. Starts off at a strike, and there was a lot of movement on that ball. And because of not only the tail but the downward movement, he's getting a lot of ground balls.
Howie Kendrick takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Kendrick bounced to second in his first at bat. We mentioned at the beginning of the game looking at Gonzalez's numbers. And a ground ball to short, keeping the Dodger batters off balance, 2 out. You look at his stats coming into the game. 21 2/3 innings, 10 walks, 8 strikeouts. So that's a little out of kilter. Then you take a look at what hitters are batting against him, 176. And watching him now through the first 3 2/3 innings, it's entirely understandable.
A lot of movement, a lot of good location. Has really not missed on which half of the plate he was going for, and most of the time he has been near the corners.
Justin Turner takes outside.
And with the movement in his fastball, I can see why, even if he walks somebody, he's really not panicking because he believes he can probably get that ground ball double play.
Hasn't given up a home run yet. And Gonzalez pops it into short center. Alberto's there, and that's that. Dodgers once again go quietly on 9 pitches this time. After 3.5, Rangers 1-0. To the bottom half of the fourth inning. Mitch Moreland, Joey Gallo, and Robinson Chirinos. You hear so much about players like Chichi Gonzalez and Joey Gallo, and you get a chance to appreciate them until you actually see them in progress. Gallo's on deck, but Chichi Gonzalez, the Dodgers batting on 1 foot, it seems.
You know what, and you really don't appreciate until you actually see him in person, like you say, Charlie, but what you appreciate is the movement and the location and the poise and the speed he goes about his business. I mean, there is no doubt that he understands what he wants to do and that he can execute it consistently. Because the numbers don't make you go, wow, 85 mile an hour slider, okay, big deal. 91, 92 mile an hour fastball, okay, no problem. But when you get to see the movement and the consistency and the attacking of the strike zone, it's like, okay, I get it.
Dodgers have been held to 2 hits. Meanwhile, Anderson delivers a strike to Moreland. It's 3-1. Anderson has had 2 3-ball counts, and they have resulted in walks. Now it's 3-2. A 2-out walk to Fielder in the first opened the door for the only run of the game. The Rangers at home are 14-16, a losing home record. Last night 4-1 winners, and at the moment enjoying a 1-0 lead with nobody out here in the fourth.
And their opponent, the Dodgers, are one of the 2 teams with losing records on the road that are leading a division. The Dodgers and the Mets.
And a leadoff walk. The 3rd walk given up by Anderson. A leadoff walk here in the fourth. Now here's Joey Gallo. Last night 0 for 3, a walk and a run scored. 279 in his first few weeks in the big league level. Played on the same little league team as Bryce Harper. And swings like him too. Gallo walked with the bases loaded in his first at bat. That's the only run of the game to this point. And the way Gonzalez is pitching tonight, that's a big fat run. Kendrick to Turner, back to first, not in time. Again, your basic 4-5-3 attempted double play.
Well, it makes it so hard to turn that, because for Turner, he doesn't really have his momentum going to first base because he's actually going back to second base to receive this. And then so he's just, you see him just kind of flat-footed waiting for that ball because he has to, because of the position he's playing there.
That's one of the advantages, of course, having Justin Turner, utility infielder, to play all 4 infield positions. But still getting the throw from that angle is, well, unconventional. That's part of the deal with the shift. Robinson Chirinos steps in. He flied to right in his first at bat. Gallo's got good speed. Has a couple of stolen bases. 1 ball and no strikes. Chirinos, not much of a hitter. 198, but he's got a rocket arm. Falls under the category of one of those catch and throw catchers. 5 home runs, 23 runs batted in. swing and a miss.
That's a good pitch from Brett Anderson right there. You get to the bottom of the order. These are the guys you're supposed to get out. You don't want this inning to spiral away from you. Then you build into a 2-0 count. And that's when the bottom of the order guys really start to think that they can become hitters. They probably don't hit very well behind in the count. That's just really for the primary guys in the offense. But you get behind 2-0, 3-1 with the 7, 8, 9 hitters in the American League. All of a sudden, you turn them into 3, 4, 5 hitters.
2-1. 2-2. Chirinos missed all of the 2012 season with a concussion. Rangers picked him up from the Rays in the spring of 13. Played 20 games for Andrew Friedman's Rays in 2011. Hit .218 there. From Venezuela. Turner, Kendrick, Gonzalez. That ends the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Ethier, Grandal, and Guerrero coming up as we head to the fifth. 1-0 Texas. Grandal will bat second here in the fifth. Ethier will be leading off. But to end the bottom half of the fourth inning, once again, Yasmani Grandal was hit on a backswing by Chirinos. Got him on the face mask and helmet. And that's not the first time that has happened to Grandal. Of course, he was on the 7-day disabled concussion list a couple of weeks back, and he took one on the face mask over the weekend in San Diego. That's dangerous business. It cost the end of Mike Matheny's career. Now Andre Ethier takes a ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Ethier popped to short. Fly ball into short right. Alberto's underneath it. How is it, Omar, that Gonzalez has these guys swinging the first or second pitch? He is now 42 pitches into the game with 1 out in the 5th inning. Is there anything the Dodgers can be doing differently?
Well, he's getting a lot of swings early because the ball's starting off probably where the hitters are looking, and then it ends up moving out of that because he's got so much movement. It's starting off, say, in the strike. You're looking, say, okay, I'm going to look middle in, wherever you feel your strength is right now, what your plan is, and the ball's starting there, and then as it's coming, it's got late movement, and then you're already committed with your swing, so you're not squaring it up, you're mishitting, you're already committed. And he's been very effective, and he's not getting into any pattern right now either.
We've talked so much about Carlos Frias and how he's going to have to bring his off-speed stuff around, and 85% of the pitches that Gonzalez has thrown in the big league so far have either been his fastball or his slider. So it's in a range of 84 mile an hour to 92, 93 mile an hour, which is a very tight range. And especially throw 85% of your pitches there. 64% of his pitches are fastballs. So it's about location and movement right now for him.
The speedometer doesn't blow you away.
Not at all. But he's got it moving in different directions. Reminds you a little bit like his pitching coach, Mike Maddox, and then his older brother, younger brother, Greg Maddox. Doesn't have the Greg Maddox changeup, but the location is exceptional.
Grandal fouls it off to the left.
Grandal has gotten 2 or 3 pitches that have gone left to right. He got one slider that came down and into him. He got another 4-seamer to the inner half, and pitched a lot like that guy when he was active.
Into short right center field, and it drops into the Bermuda Triangle. Alberto is out. Martin and Chu were squeezing in and dropped between them.
And that's the other thing right there is like, okay, your 3-2 count. That ball looked like it was going down the middle, and then it had some late cutting action to it, and it jams them. So even when the Dodgers are able to hit the ball, they're not squaring it up perfectly on the barrel. And you know, Charlie, it also, the first time you're seeing him, you know, he's being quite successful. He had that movement. You know, as he's in the league, hitters are going to adjust because they've already seen him and understand the type of movement that he has, and then you'll see how he adjusts accordingly.
Alex Guerrero into short left field, and a sliding catch is made by Kyle Blanks. That is but the second outfield flyout off Gonzalez.
Take a look at the Morongo slow-mo cam, and this little ball in the air right there can fool you because it jammed Guerrero. Does a nice job staying with it. Does Kyle Blanks, sliding and keeping a heads up on the runner at first, Grandal.
Now Jimmy Rollins, who lined to short in his first at-bat. Dodgers haven't really squared one up all night. One ball, no strikes to Jimmy Rollins, hitting exactly 200. Gonzalez pitched collegiately at Oral Roberts and was a first-round pick in 2013. A couple of years later, here he is, and he is behaving like a veteran. He's 23.
He has double the movement left to right with the harder 2-seamer and his changeup. Looks like it's moving laterally about, you know, a foot, maybe 15 inches. But when he throws the ball that goes right to left, the cutter or the slider, looks like it only moves about 6 to 8. He's got really good tail and run on the ball away from a left-handed hitter. And I'm sure it makes that movement when he's all of a sudden brings it in seem even bigger, even though it's tighter.
And the other thing he does is he'll also mix it up. So he'll look like he's going away, say on the left-hander. He'll start off in the outer half. One will move off the plate, and one will stay straight on the plate.
That's a trick of Zach Greinke. He does that an awful lot.
Yep.
Zach will miss with a 2-seamer away off the corner and then come back with a 4-seamer away on the corner to the lefty, and the lefty takes it. He freezes him because the hitter expects the ball to run off the plate, but now, oh, it's a 4-seamer. Sorry, it's staying right there on the corner.
This is but the third full count that the Dodgers have worked. And we'll do it again. No walks, no strikeouts. But Rollins, the 18th batter for the Dodgers tonight, and all of them have been off balance. Gonzalez's parents both from Cuba. He grew up in Florida. And now on 3-2. That's going to go foul. Jock Peterson is on deck. And so Jimmy Rollins once again on 3-2 with Grandal off and running, and that at long last is the first walk that the Dodgers have worked out. Well, Jock Peterson is coming up, but to end the second inning, another catch, not unlike the one we saw in San Diego on Sunday. This time it was Sin-Shu Chu. What does he do, Nomar, that he seems to do better than anybody else, particularly on a play like that?
Well, one thing he does really well is his first step. He reads the ball very well, and he takes the proper angle right when the ball is contacted. So that helps him out. The other thing is, as he's running full speed, his head is very calm as he's getting to the point to make the catch. It's not bouncing up and down, which means he's probably running more on his toes, lighter on his feet as he's going to catch the ball.
Now Peterson 1 for 2, an infield hit. Fouls it back, 0-1.
So you combine those factors with great athleticism, and makes for a great center fielder.
And the other thing that I've noticed on those balls over his head, he runs to a spot where he assumes it is going to be, rather than tracking the ball every step of the way, and then he'll turn around as he did on Sunday in San Diego, first to his left and then to his right. And tonight, that catch very similar as well. He's something.
Remember earlier in the year, he and Lorenzo Bundy were working on that exact process, but he was upset with some of the routes he was taking and some of the ballparks where he was learning, especially with the wind in San Francisco. And they spent a good week to 10 days working on running the spots.
Dodgers with their first runner in scoring position tonight. Look at him. Into the Ranger dugout. Easy to laugh now.
That almost added to their DL list.
Adam Rosales with the big laugh.
Wow. And then you had that, see that little kid wasn't even looking right behind above the dugout. I'm just so glad it went into the dugout. Oh.
And that inevitably will come up, I'm sure, in collective bargaining about netting. How far does it go? How high does it go up?
Please put it up there, down the line.
It's one of the things noticed when we were in Japan. They have netting pretty much all the way up the first base line.
Yes.
High, too.
I'll tell you, players have talked about that for so long and always wanted the nets to be put down there.
That's off Peterson's foot.
Have we just noticed that we moved to weighted green bananas? Or what is PK over there? He's got some rally stuff going on now.
There's some weights right there. He's just.
But he was holding them up in front of his face, kind of jiggling them like rooting for.
Does anything surprise you with PK?
No.
Oh, they're rally weights.
He's got enough energy in that body for 2 bodies.
So Jock Peterson, 17 home runs and 33 runs batted in.
PK's got a little Steve Sachs in him. Boy, Sachs he was. Never sit still.
Peterson hasn't had an RBI in 10 days. And down on strikes. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 left after 4.5. Chichi, Gonzalez, and the Rangers 1-0. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the new black pepper cheeseburger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by your Southern California Kia dealers. Visit mysocalkia.com to learn more. Some angry skies outside Globe Life Park, called generically the ballpark in Arlington. Now it's the park that's been named later. Rain in the forecast, and it's going to get really nasty apparently after the Dodgers and the Rangers leave town. Of course, the Dodgers and Rangers will continue their 4-game series back at Dodger Stadium tomorrow night, when Wandy Rodriguez and Clayton Kershaw will have at it. Battle of left-handers. Leonis Martin bounced to first in his first at-bat as we begin the 5th. And there's a strike, and it's 0-1. Rangers 1 run, 3 hits. The Dodgers no runs and 3 base hits.
Brett Anderson's tough luck is continuing as far as the support he's been getting when he's been pitching. Last 8 starts, he's reeled off an ERA of 2.97, but he's 1-3 in those 8 starts. And here today, getting 0 from his teammates.
And how difficult is that for a pitcher, Oral?
It's a grind. It's a mental grind. Especially a young man like this that had a chance to sign a multi-year deal and is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He's thinking about setting things up for his family, having a great year with the Dodgers, having such a good year that maybe the Dodgers want to bring him back.
Well, he has moved up a couple of notches, what with the season-ending injuries to McCarthy and Ryu. Here's a call, strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Anderson. It's the first out of the 5th.
Well, I just keep thinking, or how you've always talked about the difference for you as a pitcher when you have a lead as compared to whether the game's tied or you're down by 1 or you really, just the focus.
You know how easy that at bat is with you second and third and less than 2 outs, and you're like up there relaxed.
Yep.
That's what it's like to pitch with a 2-run lead or a 3-run lead compared to a man on third and 2 out, and you have to get a hit to get the guy in.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like there's so many ways to get through an inning when you have a 2-3 run lead and they're supporting you with some runs.
Hanser Alberto bunts it back to the box. Anderson throws low. Gonzalez does a great job digging it out, but Alberto beat the throw.
The backspin on this one got Brett Anderson. He was at the ball or in the area in time, but he stops his feet as the ball's in the air and going to land because he's got to watch where it's going to kick. Watch how quickly he's there, but now he slows his feet down. Now he has to reach for the ball, so he's out of whack as far as being able to get the throw. If he could have almost overrun the pop-up bunt and then been right on top of it, he might have got it to Gonzalez a little bit quicker.
But instead, 1 out and 1 on. And for the Rangers, but their 4th base hit. 2 of the 4 came in the first inning after a 2-out walk to Fielder. Blanks and Moreland would walk, or would single, and Gallo would walk with a fly ball to left. Ethier in foul territory makes the catch. 2 gone. So there's Hanser Alberto at first base. Talking about him last night. His father is a sports talk show host back in the Dominican. And then around the batting cage, he's plying his craft as a play-by-play guy, doing play-by-play of batting practice. Kid's got to start somewhere. And then there's Elvis.
Charlie, where'd you start? This has been your dream for a long, long time.
Peoria, Illinois.
But like as a kid, did you?
My basement.
Did you start in your basement?
Oh yeah. Turn the sound down. And I would yell, and scream.
There weren't many games on at that time either, though, right?
A couple of times
games a week, yeah.
And I would.
Did you record yourself?
No.
No. You just did it.
No.
So you would scream and yell, and parents go, "What's going on down there?"
No, they would say, "Please shut up." I lived with that kind of encouragement in my formative years. We beg you.
At least you didn't take up the drums.
Or the violin, huh? 70th pitch for Anderson. Like a lot of kids in our racket, you know, who were playing ball, we would be playing ball and announcing at the same time. Second baseman loved hearing that.
Steiner on the mound. Here's the windup and the pitch.
No, he was at first base with a bad glove. Ground ball, right side, base hit. And so now first and third with 2 out, and it'll bring up Prince Fielder.
Well, you had the runner stealing on that pitch. So, and usually with a right-hander, you're assuming pull, so you have the second baseman cover. You see the way Howie went over that, and that just let a huge hole over there on the second base side, and that gets through easily.
So here's Prince Fielder. The first and third and 2 out. A little infield hit. Bleeder to the right side. And the Rangers are threatening with 2 gone. And the way Gonzalez is pitching tonight, a second run would seem enormous. No balls, 1 strike. Prince Fielder.
And that'll play right there. Nomar reminds me of us liking it when you have a consistent batting order, because a ploy that a lot of my teammates used to play were man on first and the guy hitting behind you. You do a fake steal, fake break to see which one of the middle infielders is assigned to cover, and now you've given the hitter some information that if you do actually steal or give him another deke, you know what side of the field the hole's going to be on. But if you're scrambling your order every day, you don't have that kind of communication and trust.
This is a huge at-bat, especially the way Gonzalez is pitching tonight. Into left, slicing foul.
Well, we've now gone through the order. Jock Peterson just had his 3rd at bat, so Puig, Gonzalez, Kendrick, who come up next inning, going to see him for the 3rd time, and Turner, Ethier, and Grandal coming up to see him for the 3rd time.
Dodgers have yet to have a leadoff hitter aboard against Gonzalez. They really haven't hit the ball hard yet. 0-2. Slicing out of play.
Well, I know it's a small sample size because this only his 4th start, but you talked about that, Oro, and so far coming into this game, the 3rd time through, hitters are batting .273. So like the 2nd time, 160, first time 143. But how about the 4th time? 0 for 7. So
if you're in there in the 4th at bat, you're usually doing pretty good as a starting pitcher.
Exactly.
It's that 2nd and 3rd time around the order you got to worry about as a starter.
Batters are hitting .176 against Gonzalez this year. Again, the 0-2. Slowly hit. Turner throws high. Fielder's safe. And the Rangers score. It's 2-0. A costly error by Justin Turner.
A nice little slow curveball. Brett Anderson takes a little bit off, gets the chopper.
Yeah, and this was just a play that should have been made. And Justin Turner knows it. This is one that, yeah, you're charging it, but it is a routine play because he fields it cleanly. You're throwing off the run. There was nothing out of the ordinary about that play, and he just pulls Gonzalez off the bag.
When the ball's chopped like that, you're pretty comfortable where you are at Justin Turner because you know the speed of the runner. Prince Fielder is not very fast. Just make your routine play.
He did everything right other than the throw.
And it's 2-0. Kyle Blanks is the batter. And this one is slowly hit. And Turner Throws a strike this time. But 1 run, 2 hits, and a costly error will go to the 6th. Rangers now up 2-0.
Gonzalez and Howie Kendrick due up in the inning. Adrian Gonzalez with a big night in San Diego the other day with 3 RBIs. And, of course, he'd been slumping a little bit offensively. Don Mattingly always saying he's very high production and low maintenance, but certainly cooling off a bit. You can see the numbers there, guys. First 21 games, look at the average, down over 100 points in his last 43 games. But one thing you never worry about him, obviously a professional hitter. And, Nomar, you know better than anybody, he'll turn this around.
That he will. I mean, that's one thing about Adrian Gonzalez. He doesn't seem to panic. And the reason he doesn't panic is because he knows himself and his swing so well.
Puig's leading it off here in the 6th inning. And first ball swinging, a fly into right center. Chew. Yeah. So Chew with the catch in right. There's one gone, and Adrian Gonzalez coming up. The official score here in Arlington gave Prince Fielder a base hit on that high throw from Justin Turner. So a hit and an RBI for Fielder. No errors for the Dodgers. And that'll be about my reaction too.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's
mystifying.
Well, either way, it's a run, and Texas has a 2-0 lead. Gonzalez fouls it back.
Nomar, when you talk about Adrian Gonzalez doesn't worry, but he does grind on it, and one of the things for a veteran is you've got a huge toolbox on how to fix your swing too.
Yeah, it's a huge understanding.
This is Alberto throwing out Gonzalez, 2 out.
It's interesting, like at lunch you were telling me one of the things for you when you felt like coming around the ball, what you did when you...
Yeah, it's an understanding of, okay, what happens to me when I'm going bad? What happens to me when I'm going good? And then what do I do to try to get that feeling back when I'm going good? And like I said, I knew I used to pull off the ball, so one of the things is to stay through it. I used to almost throw my bat. I would throw my bat at the ball during like soft toss in the cage just to get that feel of going through the ball, feeling my hands going through the ball, because sometimes I would just pull off the ball and come around it.
Howie Kendrick 0 for 2's bounced to second twice.
So yeah, a lot of players have just different things and understand what works for them to try to get them back on track.
Where a guy like Jock Peterson is still building that toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Kendrick.
It's one of the reasons they like young players to go through major slumps in the minor leagues. To build those mental calluses and also build their swing to really understand how to get it back.
Kendrick down on strikes. And Gonzalez on 8 pitches retires the Dodgers in the 6th, and he is making it look easy. 2-0 after 5.5. Dodgers take on the Giants. Take your place on the field to see the post-game fireworks featuring a mix by DJ Jeremy Blacklow. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. So we'll go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. And it'll be Mitch Moreland, Joey Gallo, and Robinson Chirinos. Anderson has pitched well, but has very little margin for error now. Moreland has singled and has walked. Eight home runs, 31 runs batted in for Mitch Moreland. And a fly ball to left field. Ethier drifting back. That's the first out of the 6th. Well, here's something we haven't talked about yet, fellas. Been in all the papers today. How about them St. Louis Cardinals?
Yeah, how about that? I mean, we've seen a lot of interesting things happen in sports, and now you're going, okay, there's being investigated for.
Well, we got ERA, we got
breach.
RBIs, and now we got FBI looking into.
Is that on any sabermetric? No,
this is.
There's no acronym like that.
DOA.
They're checking into them hacking into the Houston Astros computer systems.
And what is this baseball Spygate? The difference is there is nothing fundamentally illegal about Spygate. It was just kind of cheating. But if you've got the FBI and the Justice Department breathing down your neck,
that's a little different ball game, no pun intended, right?
That's a different ball game, and no deflate gate here. This is in baseball, stealing bases is encouraged. Stealing signs is part of the game. But stealing computer information is a little over the pale.
Yeah. It'll be interesting as how all of this plays out, that's for sure.
It's also interesting. Here's Rob Manfred. Takes over as the commissioner of baseball. Didn't see that one coming.
Oh, and we skipped right over the commissioner's office, went right to the FBI.
Well, I'm sure the commissioner at some point was aware of it before it came out. But once the FBI comes down and what the Justice Department does or doesn't do, how then does the commissioner react? This is going to be his first big big test. Will there be punishment? If so, what degree of punishment? Of course, Goodell in the NFL is just universally criticized by the lack of discipline on any number of cases. Ray Rice on down. Gallows down on strikes, 2 out. But this is a big deal. And again, will this be one of those moments that will forever tarnish the St. Louis Cardinal brand? This is a franchise that's been around since 1892. And we always hear and have experienced the Cardinal way being the right way. Now all of a sudden, is it?
If found guilty, they will be leading the league in stolen databases.
Forever. Robinson Chirinos is the batter. Anderson with 2 strikeouts on the night. Rangers 2 runs and 6 hits. The Dodgers no runs and 3 base hits. There's a line drive center field base hit for Robinson Chirinos. And now here's Leonis Martin coming up. Welcome to the 21st century, kids.
It's no longer about stealing signs, like you said, Charlie.
Yeah. Martin fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Was the Redbird Nation caught red-handed? It's has the potential to be a really, really big deal. Generally, when the FBI and Justice Department are involved, it's a really big deal.
You're innocent until proven guilty, but you know there's got to be a lot of smoke for them to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And to put some assets into investigating it.
And both clubs running into, well, there's an investigation now, so we can't comment. Anderson strikes out Martin, and that will end the inning. No runs and 1 hit. We'll head to the 7th. Have Turner, Ethier, and Grandal coming up. And the Rangers lead 2-0. LA is brought to you by Nissan. Get to Nissan's ride of your life for exciting performance and surprising offers. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com.
Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry.
It's getting late early against this guy, 23-year-old Chichi Gonzalez. Through 6 innings, he's given up 3 base hits. He has struck out 2, walked 1. And the Dodgers have yet to really hit the ball right on the screws. Turner has bounced to third and popped to second. Takes inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes.
One of the things he used to do against a pitcher like Gonzalez is to step out on him and to slow the game down to break his rhythm. But with the new pace of play rules, a little harder to use that strategy. First time around the order, guys mowing you down. He's kind of suffocating you with his pace. You hear throughout the bench, on the big league bench, step out on him, you know, make him work, see some pitches, call time right before he gets the sign, get out of there. Players are pretty much warned against that now.
So the pace of play rule plays into the hand and arm of Chichi Gonzalez. Wide of third, Gallo. Turner's retired, 1 out and nobody on. A lot of range for that tall third baseman.
A nice play by Gallo, but it was one of the harder hit balls I think we've seen. Granted, it was on the ground. It was a hard hit ball, and Gallo does a good job fielding it, spinning around, and making a fine throw to first.
Good to see why they're so excited about a talented rookie with a lot of power. Andre Ethier has popped to short, popped to second.
We saw Gallo play left field, and they want to get him some reps in the outfield because Adrian Beltre on the DL, and when he comes back, he'll be back over there at third, and they don't want to lose that bat, and Gallo try to find him another spot.
Fielder is the DH. Orland's the first baseman. Of course, they got Hamilton till he got hurt. To shield his replacement till he got hurt. And yet the Rangers are cruising right along. That's going to be a tough play, but Elvis Andrus makes a sliding catch in short left field. Spectacular play turned in by Elvis.
Well, Elvis Andrus was smiling and joking with Joey Gallo on the play before. It looked like they were having a lot of fun out there, and what an amazing play by Elvis Andrus, showing off the range, sliding, staying on the ball, and then avoiding the big man over there, Joey Gallo. He just robbed Andre Ethier of a base hit.
Now there's 2 out. And Grandal, who's 1 for 2, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Gonzalez should have the time to throw at Grandal, and he does, and retires the Dodgers on 9 pitches. Nothing across, 7th inning stretch. Gonzalez and the Rangers with a 2-0 lead. Other half of the 7th inning stretch, the Rangers will have Hander Alberto, Jin-Soo Choo, and Elvis Andrus to bat in the 7th inning. Brett Anderson's given up 2 runs and 7 base hits to this point. A 2-out rally in the first, 2 walks and 2 base hits, and an infield hit from Prince Fielder drove in the 2nd run in the 5th. Alberto, an infield hit in his first at bat, has to skip out of the way. It's 1-1. 93 pitches for Anderson, 60 for strikes. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, and one of the walks would hurt him. 2-1.
His first 4 starts of the year, he was 1-1 with an ERA a little north of 5.5. Since then, including tonight, in the next 9 starts, the Dodgers have gotten him a total of 11 runs. Whether he was in the game or not, 11 runs in 9 starts as far as support. So he has really had to be mentally tough.
Coming into the game, a record of 2-4. And up to the minute, his ERA is 3.53.
You drop your ERA from north of 5.5 in your first 4 starts, and now your 9 starts later on top of that, and you get down around 3.5. He's had an ERA south of 3 his last 9 starts. He's thrown the ball exceptionally well.
Alberto down on strikes. That's 4 strikeouts for Anderson. And Choo bounced to first, was robbed of an extra base hit by Jock Peterson. So what else is it? And he also fouled out. Peterson's catch back in the 2nd inning, while not quite the spectacular of the Justin Upton catch in the bottom of the 9th in San Diego, this was a terrific catch in straightaway center field. Very similar. And a chopper to first. And the flip from Gonzalez to Anderson. In case you missed it, it's worth seeing again. This is back in the 2nd inning.
Going back on the ball. I mean, he also, not only does he get a good jump, keeps his eye on the ball, but he also has good field awareness, knowing where the wall is going to be as he's about to make contact with it.
The game saver in San Diego, he had 1 less step to stop himself, so he hit the wall a lot harder. That one, he had 1 step, but still hit it pretty good.
And he had further to run in San Diego.
Yeah.
Because late in the game, Upton was up, and Peterson was in, and then he had to make a full sprint back. Now the 100th pitch of the game is low and outside to Elvis Andrus. 1 ball and no strikes. Andrus is 2 for 3. And he robbed Ethier of a base hit in the top of the 7th. Oh. Look what I found. That'll end the inning on 10 pitches. He can smile about it now. Meanwhile, it's getting late early for the Dodgers. We go to the 8th. Guerrero, Rollins, and Peterson are due up. Let's take a look at the DraftKings game summary. Brett Anderson's been terrific. Don't pin the rap on him. Couple of runs and 7 base hits, but Chichi Gonzalez has been even better. No runs, 3 hits, and through 7 innings, he has thrown but 80 pitches. Prince Fielder with an infield hit gave the Rangers their second run. Now Alex Guerrero, the DH tonight. He's 0 for 2. Fouls it into the dirt, nothing in 1. On the out-of-town scoreboard, congratulations to the U.S. women's soccer team shutting out Nigeria tonight, 1-0.
The win, they're able to advance out of the group play.
And congratulations to the Chicago Blackhawks, one of the original 6, winning the Stanley Cup last night. Meanwhile, back in Texas, it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Alexander Guerrero, who's bounced to second and flied to left. Rollins on deck, and then Jock Peterson. Into left field and deep and toward the corner. It's going to be run down by Kyle Blanks. That's the first out of the 8th inning.
The ball kind of hung up in the air a little bit there. Oral didn't quite carry as much as we've seen in the past here. Balls carrying. Allowed Kyle Blanks to get underneath that.
1 out, nobody on, and now here's Rollins, who's lined to short and has walked. No rain yet, but they are expecting big storms here. In fact, there's no batting practice today. The field was covered with tarp in expectation. But there is a sense of foreboding here in Texas tonight. I guess Houston was really getting walloped earlier in the day.
I have a feeling if it does come, it's not going to just kind of trickle its way in here. Like it's going to be here in a hurry.
There will be no misty drizzle. No.
Texas-sized drops.
Yeah.
Hey, we had Colorado-sized hail, so we can. Both teams fly back to Los Angeles probably a couple of hours after the final pitch. And we'll get to LAX sometime after 1 o'clock in the morning, which is a far sight better than 4 or 4:30 in the morning. We got here 48 hours ago.
Let's do it with just 1 plane.
1 plane, no stops. We're good. Rollins takes a strike.
I think I just had a banana spotting.
That rally banana was out. Oh, yeah, he just kind of
down a little lower. Look through the fence, below the padding there.
Ain't doing much good. But Alberto comes up big, robs Rollins. There's 2 out. And that'll bring up Jock Peterson. Peterson is 1 for 3.
They were playing him to pull. Because they were playing him to pull, he was deep over there in the hole and makes a fine play to get Rollins.
Whenever I see a second baseman go far to their left, I think of Robbie Alomar. Oh, it was unbelievable at that play.
When he would dive and slide and spin while his body's still sliding into right field and still throw to first.
It was quite a baseball family. Robbie, Sandy Sr. and Jr.
It was unfair. You know, Nomar, you're unbelievable shortstop, but when Alomar played with Vizquel, to watch those 2 magicians up the middle.
I would go out to batting practice to go watch them take ground balls. I'd get out there and just.
Jock Peterson, probably the hardest hit ball of the night for the Dodgers, a 2-out single into center. His second hit of the night. One thing about Gonzalez tonight, he has not given up a leadoff runner. Dodgers have 4 hits. 3 of the 4 have come with 2 out. And here's Puig.
He's been running the sinker in on Yasiel. know if Yasiel wants to look for it in there and cheat.
Takes inside and low.
Waiting for a mistake has not worked so far tonight. It's almost like you pick one side of the plate or the other.
That's exactly right.
And even if it's off the plate, but if it's on the side you're looking for, you got a chance to barrel it up.
And let's just hope that the rally banana has some magic this inning.
So Peterson 2 for 4 leading off first. Puig is a tying run at the plate. And he grounds it slowly to short. Andrews goes the short way. Force out, end of inning. We'll go to the bottom half of the 8th. The middle of the Rangers lineup coming up. Fielder, Blanks, and Moreland. Market Game Live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and Prince Fielder. 1 for 2, an infield hit. A run scored and an RBI and a big splash. Rounding third back in the first inning. He tripped and fell over the bag. Felt like an earthquake. Looked like the movie San Andreas. Got up, looked at the sky and said, somebody must have shot me. Well, it was none of the above. He tripped and fell. And the Dodgers are falling 2-0 here in the bottom of the 8th. But don't pin the wrap on Brett Anderson. 104 pitches in, 67 for strikes. He's given up 7 hits.
He's done great so far. And really, in my book, he's only given up 1 earned run. Because that second run should have been called an error.
Gonzalez will take it himself. Did you see the movie San Andreas? If you hadn't, here it is. One out, nobody on. Josh Raven warming up in the Dodger bullpen. Blanks 1 for 3. Down the left field line, and it is a fair ball, and the former Padre is on his way to second base with a stand-up double.
Sometimes when you jam a guy, they're able to keep this fair because when you jam them, the ball's got more backspin than side spin. Brett Anderson got what he wanted, but got blooped in there for the double.
That's the first extra base hit of the game for either team.
Fastball up and in, got in on the label.
Pinch runner for Kyle Blanks. Jake Smolinski at second base taking over for Blanks. And he'll play in left field in the ninth. Mitch Moreland, who is 1 for 2 and a walk tonight. Moreland is now 7 for his last 8 with runners in scoring position. Two runs, 8 hits for the Rangers. No runs and 4 hits for the Dodgers. Moreland at 309. Looking ahead to the ninth, Gonzalez, Kendrick, and Turner will bat for the Dodgers. Gonzalez threw 8, 93 pitches. Nothing in 2 to Moreland with Gallo on deck. And Smolinski leading off second. Will comebacker. Anderson from his knees. Goes out Moreland. Smolinski can't go anywhere. There's 2 out.
That was a nice play by Brett Anderson as he's falling off, and I think it was important for him to go out there and lay out for that one, because that would have been a tough play for Howie Kendrick to try to come in and get the runner as he was charging on that ball, because it wasn't hit very hard. That would have been one that was probably in no man's land if it gets by Brett Anderson, where he's just safe easily.
And then you're looking at first and third with 1 out. Instead, 2 out. Smolinski still at second base, and Joey Gallo coming up.
Raven up in the bullpen. This could be Brett Anderson's last hitter.
A hard thrower. Nicely done by Grandal, but it's 2 balls and no strikes. Raven can top out at 100 miles an hour. Dodgers have the shift on, and Gallo takes up and in. 3 balls and no strikes. The Ranger bullpen, they're just spectators. Gonzalez has been brilliant. And there's a strike. 3-1 to Gallo. Dodgers and Rangers play again tomorrow night back at Dodger Stadium. High fly ball into left center field. Now sprinting in is Peterson. The wind must have been doing tricks on that one. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. 1 inning for the Dodgers to score 2 or more. 2-0 after 8. Dodgers, our cameras, he said, get an inside look at the 2015 MLB draft with Director of Amateur Scouting Billy Gasparino. Plus, outfielder Chris Heisey adjusts to a season between the major and minor leagues. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers Thursday at 5:30 right here on Sportsnet LA. Chichi Gonzalez has been just terrific tonight. You look at the stats. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. What's the big deal? I'll tell you what the big deal is. You know what his ERA is? At this very moment, it is 10 after 9 in Texas, .30.
He shut out the American League champion Kansas City Royals in a 9-inning 3-hit shutout. He's beat. Well, he lost to Oakland, giving up 1 run in 7 innings. And he also beat Boston, going 5 2/3, only 2 hits, no earned runs. Now he's got the Dodgers shut out.
If the Dodgers fail to score in the 9th, they will have been shut out 6 times this year. 2 balls and a strike. Into right field. Chu is heading back. Dodgers down to their final 2 outs now. Peterson's single into center field in the 8th was about the only really hard hit ball all night. So there's 1 out, and Howie Kendrick coming up, and Kendrick is 0 for 3. Now he was 2 for 4 last night. And takes a strike. It's 0-1. Gonzalez, just 23 years of age. Missing outside.
You know, Nomar, he hadn't really thrown many 2-seamers through the outside part of the plate or to righties or the inside to lefties. That comeback 2-seamer. Everything, the 2-seamers are on the arm side and the cutters and sliders are on the other side.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Might be something that the league picks up on as we go through, and they see him over and over again.
They'll start adjusting. They'll start recognizing the movement, the patterns, or where he feels comfortable with certain pitches.
Three balls and a strike.
But watching him, watching how composed he is on the hill, watching the command he has of his pitches, I'd have a feeling he's not going to have very much trouble also adjusting himself.
Sean Tollison warming up at the Texas bullpen just in case. Now it's 3-2. And there he is, the former Dodger and running mate of Clayton Kershaw. And his buddy will be starting for the Dodgers tomorrow night against Wandy Rodriguez. Justin Turner on deck, Andre Ethier to follow. Just inside and just low, and Justin Turner coming up.
Well, you heard the crowd getting up there. I've seen a couple of people standing up here. Well, Charlie, you and I both know, we've seen it, and I'm sure Oral, you go to certain places where when he comes out this inning, they're standing right from the first batter to see if he could complete this game.
Well, Mike Maddox, kind of like a jockey putting the whip near the finish line. Step it up. Not far to go.
It's a rarity in today's game to see complete games, and that's your pitch count to get to one where you're within control, where the manager and the pitching coach won't get second guessed for leaving you in. If you get up around 112, 115, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the hook.
The Dodgers have had a grand total of 1 runner in scoring position all night. Turner 0 for 3. Well hit to left. It's on its way, and it is gone. The Dodgers have tied it. Justin Turner with his 6th home run of the year. We're tied at 2. Back from the dead.
Talked about earlier in the inning, maybe you got to sit one side of the plate or the other. The two-seamer mostly inside to righties. Justin Turner looked like finally learning the pattern and what to sit on. Got a ball up, Nomar.
Well, we talked about Justin Turner before the game started. How important he has been to this ball club. What he's done not only last year, but carrying it into this year. And he gets a ball on the inner half.
And so Turner with the home run. Gonzalez leaves the game to a standing ovation. The Dodgers are thrilled to bits. Sean Tullis is coming in, and we are tied at 2. Well, it was a Justin Turner home run, his 6th of the year, and the Dodgers are all even now. He was brilliant until his 105th and final pitch. And this Dodger team, so different from the club of the year 2 years ago, with the ability to stage rallies late in games. Ethier flies to left, and that's Smolinski. A one-out walk to Kendrick. Turner's first pitch, which would turn out to be the last thrown by Gonzalez. The Dodgers and Rangers are tied at 2.
Come from behind wins can be a little sketchy, but when they're come from behind in the 9th, that's when you see the character of a club. You can fall behind 1-0 in the first inning, come back and win the game 5-6-1, and that's a come from behind victory. But late and tight, those are a lot better.
Yasmani Grandal, 1 ball and no strikes. Well, we saw that unbelievable win in Colorado with the Guerrero grand slam. And here in the 9th inning, the Dodgers' last rites being administered until Justin Turner would have no part of it. Raven is warming up and now joined by, from the Justin Case department, Kenley Jansen. There they are. And they both throw real hard. Raven Harder.
Kenley's still got to learn that he's got plenty of time. Sometimes I see him up there as the old pitching coach in me, where if we're going to get a run here, and he's going to come in for the save, you've got the time that it takes for the ball to leave the ballpark or the base hit to score the guy. The next batter has to come up and make an out. The pitcher that you're coming in for, Brett Anderson, could go out there and take some fake warm-up tosses, his fake 8, and give him time. There's plenty of time for him to get loose still. And when you get into these games like this that you could close in multiple innings, extra inning games like we had in San Diego, if you're the closer, you can end up on the road getting up 3, 4, 5 times when all of a sudden there's extra inning rallies that look like you're going to score, but you don't.
3-2 to Grandal with Guerrero on deck. The shift is on for Grandal, the switch hitter batting for the left side, and he beats the shift. Grandal 2 for 4.
Good job by Grandal. Good at bat. Fouled off some tough pitches. He gets one he can handle and gets that base hit. And even this one was all over the middle of the plate. And he stays on it. And I'll tell you, I like this matchup with Guerrero. Collinson. Guerrero had a good swing his last at bat. I knew he flew out there to left field.
But that was against Gonzalez.
It was. And Collinson doesn't have as much movement. Has some movement on his pitches, but not quite as much. And you know, Guerrero likes that first pitch. And
so Guerrero, who's been a clutch hitter all year for the Dodgers, 10 home runs, 3 as a pinch hitter, just to tell you how clutch he has been. Into left field for a base hit. Well, this game has an entirely new feel here in the 9th than it did in the first 8 innings.
And look who's coming to play. Somebody who could use a little confidence in a big knock.
Chris Heisey's now going to pinch run for Grandal at second. Mike Maddox going out to talk with Tollison. And the Dodgers, through the first 8 1/3 innings tonight, were inert. They were just kind of there. And that was all to the brilliant pitching of Chichi Gonzalez. But then the walk to Kendrick. Then Maddox came out and talked to him, and whatever he said something wrong, because the very next pitch, the first one thrown to Turner, was a home run. And now here's Jimmy Rollins. Boy, everybody knows how he has been slumping. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. And a base hit here, and he could fly back to Los Angeles without the planes. So Heisey is at second base. He is the lead run. Rollins, though, on the season has struggled hitting with runners in scoring position. But he's got a big chance here. 149 with runners in scoring position. First and second, 2 out. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Jock Peterson is on deck. A Kendrick walk, a 2-run home run to Turner. Ethier flied out. Grandal and Guerrero singled. Rollins takes low, 1-1. Rollins 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out, 9th inning, tied at 2. Up and in, throw down to second base. Heisey just gets in under the tag. Heisey can exhale now.
And you're leading off second base. You're looking, you're going, okay, if he swings, you want to get a good jump because you know you're the go-ahead run. Did a good job recognizing where he was, what his limit was as far as his secondary, and gets back.
Well, he stretched that limit.
Yep.
3 balls and a strike to Jimmy Rollins. Jock Peterson is 2 for 4, and a spectacular catch tonight is on deck. 3 balls, 1 strike to Jimmy Rollins. 3 balls and 2 strikes, so the runners will get a head start. Well, the Dodgers have momentum on their side. Now they're hoping to get a lead on their side, having scored 2 here in the ninth. 2-2. The count is 3-2. The pitch to Rollins into left center field. It is well hit, but it's going to be tracked down by Smolinski, and that will end the inning. Hung up in the air, and the wind kind of left it up there for Rollins and Smolinski to track it down. But Justin Turner has pulled the Dodgers all even as he cracked his 6th home run of the year. And now we go to the bottom of the ninth. It's a new game, tied at 2. With Chris Heisey having pinch run for Yasmani Grandal, A.J. Ellis is behind the plate. And now he'll be receiving for Josh Raven. Raven, who got the win in San Diego on Sunday. Don Mattingly and Rick Honeycutt showing increased confidence in this hard-thrown right-hander.
You continue to build a good resume, and then you continue to bolster management's confidence in you, and so your outings have more leverage to them, and this is a very high leverage situation with Josh Raven.
So the Dodgers come back with 2 in the ninth. We're all even at 2 in the bottom of the ninth. Robinson Chirinos is leading it off. He is 1 for 3. Has 5 home runs. And he takes a strike at 98, and it's 0-1. Chirinos is hitting .201. Leonis Martin on deck, and then Hander Alberto. For Raven. That one is well hit to left center. That one is way back, and it is gone. A walk-off home run. Robinson Chirinos has won the game in the bottom of the ninth. After Turner ties it with a two-run home run in the top half of the inning, Chirinos with his 6th home run of the year, and the Rangers beat the Dodgers 3-2. Chirinos, a .201 hitter at the moment of impact on a 1-1 pitch, took it out and into the Dodger bullpen. And so the Rangers with a run in the bottom of the ninth after the Dodgers had scored 2 in the top half, win it on the Chirinos home run, the Lexus play of the game. A crushing blow to Raven and the Dodgers. 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Texas. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Now the two teams will fly their respective charters to LA. We'll pick up where they left off tomorrow night at 7. But for those of us in Arlington, Alana Rizzo, Oral Hershiser, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Charlie Stunner saying good night and goodbye. Now it's time to send it back to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan.